This is straight talk, leads to straight understanding. Straight talk. STSU. This is straight talk, leads to straight understanding. Straight talk. STSU. This is straight talk, leads to straight understanding. Straight talk. STSU. This is straight talk, leads to straight understanding.
We're about to stop this and set it off, set it off.
STSU. This is straight
We're
talk,
about to set it off.
straight
My name is Sean Bowden, Sean Big.
Straight talk.
How y'all want to do this? We're going to do it like
STSU. This is straight talk, leads to straight understanding. Straight talk.
all right.
STSU. This is
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Peace and blessings to you all. Big up to all y'all. Yes, today is my man Lamonica. Happy birthday, brother. Tomorrow is my man son Doobie. It's his birthday. Tuesday was my nephew, my little nephew, little Brett. Happy birthday, young man. He is now officially a young man. Big up to him. As you already know, my mom's birthday was about 2 weeks ago. All these Virgos are in my life. Lily, his aunt, happy birthday to you. Thais, happy birthday to you. LaMonica, happy birthday to you. This is a birthday thing. This is my Virgo season. Brenda, happy birthday to you. All my Virgos, all my Virgos. I hope I ain't missing none because y'all all. Jennifer, happy birthday to you. Oh, man, happy belated to all y'all. Shantae, happy belated to you. These are just the Virgos off the top of my head. Nas, I ain't going into people I don't really know, but have birthdays, but like a Nas and all of them. Happy birthday to all of them. But anyway, this is Sean Bowden, Sean B. How y'all doing today? So I was on what was it? Instagram? No, a live yesterday on YouTube. By the way, like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things. I just asked y'all to do all of those good things. Like, comment, subscribe at Sean Bowden on all platforms. Badges, cash apps, definitely welcome. Thank you for joining me. So, I was having a conversation yesterday, and the conversation was about Diddy. Did he do it or did he did it? Whichever one y'all want to say. All right, so as y'all all know, Sean Puffy Combs, Sean Diddy Combs, Sean Love Combs, Sean whatever his name is, Combs, got arrested on Tuesday and was indicted on Tuesday, got arrested, and is in jail currently with no bail, which I don't find a surprising thing. We had a long discussion on The Real Precious yesterday with our pain. I had Ferg up there, 18th letter up there. We had a few people. Precious, of course, was hosting us, and we were discussing this whole thing. And some of the points that I made that a lot of people didn't understand or think or see is that I'm not surprised. I've been in the industry now about some years, I'll just say, but when I was a teenager is when I got into this industry. Salute to my brother Brett, who introduced me and gave me the opportunity to be in the industry. But I was talking with him yesterday, and one of the things that he said this industry does, he gave a vivid analogy. And the analogy was that this industry is like in the Bible when Jesus went to the top of the mountain and he was starving because he was fasting. He was talking with his father, talking to God, and the devil came. And the devil was like, and started questioning him and asking him things. And saying, I know you hungry, if you the son of God. Y'all know the story. But anyway, one of the things he said, and he said, look, as far as you can see, I can give that all to you. And my brother's perspective is that's what people in the industry do. They come and they find your vices. They find what it is that you want and say, I can give it all to you. Puff did it on a number of occasions. I can give it all to you. What is it that you desire? What is it that you want? And a lot of people think that it's all about money, that if he's offering this to anybody who has ambition, he's asking, what are you ambitious about? I can provide that. And the average person, whether it's greed or whether it's a good job, a better life, the ambition will guide them to want something. And he is offering them what potentially they want. Now, everybody isn't aware of this because he comes in a way and in a place that is very convincing, very humble. All of these dastardly ideas of what people look at him as right now. That's not how he shows up. We talking, did he? He shows up very convincing. He shows up as if he has compassion and consideration for what it is that they want. He shows up in a way that a lot of them think is genuine. They might have heard the stories. They might have heard, he does bad business. He's a bad person. But this guy is coming up and asking questions in a very concerned way, asking it in a very compassionate manner, coming forth as a very genuine concern and or ability. So you're thinking, because you have ambition, that this might be true. Similar to how if Jesus himself was to be listening in his state of mind, or was to be, man, and the devil's offering what it is that you want, this all can be yours. But what my brother said, to cap it off, he told people when they propositioned him, because they did in this industry, that's how I know, and that's how I was able to maneuver out of it. He was like, yo, you can't give me what is already mine. He understood his value. He understood, yo, you coming to me for a reason. You having this conversation for a reason. And the reason isn't what you can give me. The reason is, what can I give you? You understood. The devil understood he needed Jesus to be able to adhere to his request in order to have a different rapport and relationship here on this earth. And Jesus said, nah, brother, how you going to give me all that there? You're going to offer that to me when my Father has already provided that to me. My Father already told me that is mine. So you're coming in. That's what happened in a lot of these things when they call devilish acts and things of that nature. They came in offering something as if it was as if it was not theirs. And so this is what happened in the music industry. And if you remember, biblically, they described the devil as the most beautiful, most gifted musically. So he used music to enchant. You know the Pied Piper? That's another story of a biblical principle. The Pied Piper enchanted the children to follow him. That's how he got them to follow. Well, the devil, from what they have described, enchanted folks with his beauty, with all that he had, similar, and he deceived them. When Adam and Eve, the first story of the Bible, y'all know, he came in, he didn't say anything, you better do this. He didn't proposition and overtake Eve. He just questions Eve's trust in the Lord. Said, who told you that you can't? That's what the devil said. Why is it that he doesn't want you? He doesn't want you to know this, because then you will have his wisdom. So he just basically instigated it, doing a little something. And that's what people in this industry do often. They will instigate and throw in a little something just to make you go, and divide to conquer you. It's the oldest thing. We talk about it often. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. That's what we talk about. We talk about divide and conquer. But do we really recognize it when folks are coming to do it. Because those who come to divide, guess what? They're often people who you know. They're often people who you deem trustworthy. And even if you heard a reputation, like they might have heard about the devil, but they're like, oh, he didn't come off that way because he comes off very suave, very enticing, very impressionable. Yeah, he comes off like that. And so you don't ever suspect him of doing devilish deeds. That's what happens in this music industry. You don't expect them to do devilish deeds. You don't expect them to do you dirty because guess what? They're offering you stuff. They're offering you stuff you need, offering stuff you like, offering stuff you want. All right. So, with that being said, these are things that my brother brought up to me, and I just want to share with you. The reason why I want to paying, I love him to death. What he told me and what he shared with me is, yo, I'm just not going to be stupid enough to do and to be persuaded by somebody. And I thought about that. Now, I rebutted it then, but here's what happens. And I went through this. When I was, and I didn't give this example, but when I was working for a record label called EMI, I was told that we were going to, we were about to reboot the department, the urban department. Everything was going well. And I believed that. I understood that. Here's a legitimate company. They're offering me a salary. I just resigned from Interscope. And I wanted to be with my daughter. So I just wanted to be with my daughter. So the job didn't really matter to me because I'm a worker. I am not. Let me make this clear. I'm a worker. I'm not here to do the job. Now, what I mean by that is that there's some people who are just in this industry to keep a job. Jesus came to divide. Luke 12:51 is what LaMonica just shared with me. Sorry, I got a little distracted by reading the comments. But what I was saying is that it was a legitimate company. I just wanted to be with my daughter. If anything, that was my vice. I wanted to be with her. So the offer that they gave me was a nice offer. It was with a company that was legitimate, EMI Records. I asked a question. I said, hey, yo, what if your boss don't like what you do? And I was assured, nah, don't worry about that. That can never happen. They wouldn't invest that heavily into this department if they didn't have the promise and the hope for it to continue. Now, fast forward, I was like, okay, all right, well, I take the job. I got the job. It was a nice job, nice salary, in New York where I was with my daughter, so on and so forth. So it fulfilled me temporarily. Now, the reason why I say that is that I started working. I didn't do the job. Now, the job is what I was saying are people who are just doing the politics, just network, just kissing, just trying to, do anything to keep that job, to get the money, whatever the case may be. And to each his own. I was a worker. The workers are the ones who keep those jobs running. I wasn't one who was out there trying to do it. And when my street teams was out there, I was out there with the street team. When Flex, for example, Funkmaster Flex didn't want to play our record, it was talk junked about us on the radio. When I first got there, I'm like, oh, word, Flex? I went up to his office. We were doing a Hey AZ campaign, sticker campaign. Y'all might know about it. Y'all might have saw those orange and black stickers. We was doing that. I said, okay, Flex. And I went to his office, and outside his office, I personally, with some of my team, went up there and stickers did AZ outside the walls of his office. I was going to do something more dastardly, but I didn't, but he was talking about us, and I had to hear from people who hired me like, yo, he over there talking about y'all. And so I made a statement like, yo, stop playing. We out here working. I don't know about all them other street teams and everybody. I just got back from Cali and moved to New York for the first time. This is the first time I worked in the industry in New York. I always worked in California from an artist and so on and so forth. Never did I work in New York. So I get out here and they talking on the radio like that. And I'm like, yo, he don't know. Nobody know I'm from New York. Although I did my music, I'm from East New York, Brooklyn. So nobody know that. But they soon, in our dialogue and conversation, might have got a hint of that because we had some, direct conversation. Me and quite a few people in New York that people was like, yo, you know who that is? And I was like, yeah, and what? He messing with my food. I ain't out here trying to do nothing to them. So why are they trying to do something to me? I'm from there. I'm like, I like fairness, always have. This is why straight talk is what I do. Because I'm about fairness. I'm not about corruption and trying to. I was raised around that, but I ain't about that. All my people will tell you I ain't the one that I wasn't into that. But best believe I was outside. Let's just say that. But I was outside having fun, enjoying. I, interacted with folk. I wasn't out there trying to do the things that some of my folks were doing. Big up to East New York. So I say all that to say those people who was doing the job, I was a worker. So as a worker, I came out there and I did that. And we did that. And the next day, Flex was on the radio saying, all right, y'all, EMI street team, I see y'all. So I say that because I was doing the job legitimately. I wasn't out there on no BS. So fast forward to why I say you're not stupid when in fact some things are presented to you. I was the ambitious, wanting to be with my daughter, and it was presented to me a job, a legitimate job. I ran the rap department or the mix show department. I forget what it was at that point. I was running that. Kev Black was on the West Coast running that side. I was on the East Coast running this side. And so we had some success. We was doing, we were starting to get busy, starting to make a name for ourselves. We had records going up the charts. We was doing Prince. We was doing AAZ. We was doing a whole lot of stuff. AZ from East New York. So, there was a lot of camaraderie, and he was managed by some folks. And Dio, what's up? He was managed by Dio. Big up Dio. And so I say all this to say, I don't want to, I'm going to come back around the way I'm going. I say all this to say, to Payne's point, when he said, oh, you just gullible, if you don't recognize it. I was like, nah, it was presented in a very legitimate way. This job was presented to me in a legitimate way. Now, here's how the business goes. One day, sometimes now, I was out there for maybe about 6 months, maybe a year, a half a year, and I'm on my way to work. On the subway, on the train. I think I lived in East New York, Brownsville. I can't remember. Either East New York, where I was born and raised, in Linden, or in Brownsville with my mom. But anyway, I was in Brooklyn. I was coming from Brooklyn to go to the city, going to work. Now I'm sitting on the train, right? And across from me, somebody's reading the paper. Y'all might not know newspaper if y'all in this generation, but my generation, y'all know what it is. Somebody was reading a newspaper. This is something that, people on their phones and they're doing that now, but this was traditional, reading the newspapers. And I'm sitting across from them. And as I'm looking at them on my way to work, I look at the headline, and the headline says, EMI goes out of business. I'm on my way to EMI. I'm on my way to EMI. They promised me this job. They told me everything was good. I questioned whether it was good. I did all of my vetting, everything that I could. Now, there was rumblings that the department might be shutting down and something like that. I've been through a merger before, so that didn't alarm me. But here it was. I relocated my whole life, and guess what? It did not work out. I relocated my whole life, and here I was on my way to work, and I found out that my job that I'm on my way to my office, have my private office, all of that. Y'all might have been envious of the type of office that I had, corner office and all that good stuff, was gone. And I had no clue. You know why I had no clue? Part of why I had no clue? Because I was a worker. And I wasn't there doing the job. So I wasn't schmoozing and doing, I was doing a job. Me and my people, Fran was there with me. We had a lot of people in that building, but I was doing my job. I mean, I'm sorry, I was working. I wasn't doing a job. The job would be, going to see the presidents and rubbing elbows with all of those people who are writing checks, not being around the people who are looking for checks. Now, I wasn't writing checks, nor was I looking for a check. So I wasn't around either one. But a job will have you try and be with those rubbing shoulders and arms with those who are writing checks, which is smart, very smart. Smart to do it if you want that job. Very smart to do in business, network properly. Network always, Marv Mack said this saying, and I use it ever since. He said, I like being around people who are writing checks, not people who are looking for them. He was doing a job. He got me a job in the future with TVT because he knew how to do the job. I just was never interested in doing the job. It was never I came as an artist. I was always a worker. So I wasn't interested. It's kind of like if you was on the street, you don't go and hire somebody. You rather put in the work yourself so you ain't got nothing to worry about. That's the mentality I was raised with. Just go do it as opposed to have somebody get it done. I hope y'all follow me. No, it's no street stuff here, but just hope y'all follow me. So all that to say is that people might have called me gullible, believing and trusting what I was told to get the work that I was doing. And that wasn't the case. In hindsight, you can even say this a lot. You should have known better. You should have stayed with Interscope because Interscope was offering me dollars to stay with them. I resigned. The day before I resigned, or the week that I resigned is when I brought the Black Eyed Peas over to Interscope and presented them to them. Now, DJ, who's Jimmy Iovine's nephew, he had already knew Will and they was hanging out. But DJ, you was Jimmy's nephew and people just wasn't respecting you. You had a hot car that you brought in, but people wasn't respecting your ear at the time. No slight on you. But the point is that they respected because they saw me doing the work. They knew my history as an artist. So no, I wasn't A&R, but I am the one who saw the talent or who saw the work ethic in Will. And with his Jan Styles at the time, we had a rapport. Will and I had a rapport. I brought them in and introduced them to Jimmy Iovine's office directly. Scott Igo was Jimmy's assistant, and he can confirm this story in case anybody else can't. So anyway, I brought them in there and I resigned. So with that being in there, I had a lot of opportunity. Y'all see how big the Peas got? That could have been my project. But I was more concerned and my ambition was to be with my daughter in New York, more so than it was to be in this industry doing a job. So I got the job, I got the offer over at AMI and I went there and this is what happened. They merged with Virgin and I lost my job. I didn't know no better. It wasn't about money that I was going there for, even though in hindsight, that's what it could have looked like. Oh, I left Interscope because they're giving me a bigger check at EMI. And that wasn't it. The point is I had I wanted to be with my daughter. Nobody really knows this because I don't always share this, but I'm just sharing it with y'all for the sake of this conversation of how Diddy can coerce an innocent person with ambition. How a Diddy and those type of characters can kind of do what the devil did to Jesus and be like, you see all that? I can get you all that. Not realizing, and this is what I realized, what my brother said, and it came full circle, is that I realized that what is mine is already that. And I realized my desire and ambition was already mine. So I not only got to be with my daughter in that time of her life, but I got to do it without having to work, with full pay and then some because of the severance package for over 3 or 4 months, the whole summer, so to speak, because this happened the day before my birthday, which is in June. So I'm sitting there going, and I thought I was devastated. Like, oh man, they bamboozled me. They threw me in, not realizing it was already mine. It was already said and done. What I asked for although it didn't look like how I asked for it, I got that and then some. So I got to be with my daughter and then some. So the moral of the story is the devil, the ditties, the industry can't give you what you already own or what the Lord has already given you. And you need to remember that because that is your value. When you surrender from that standpoint, I could have went for the money. I could have said, yo, this will help my daughter out even more. I could have did all of that. But my heart was with my daughter. It wasn't with this industry. And so because I followed that, I got what was already mine. When in fact they offered me, hey, and literally, Step Johnson asked me, Sean, what is it that you want? We can give you whatever you want. What is it that you want? He didn't, he said, yo, you don't gotta leave. Yo, what is it that you want? And I said, Step, respectfully, I just want to go back to New York. Now I might have made up something because I was pursuing at the time. No, actually, I was pursuing. I could have been a police officer. They had called me, and so I was like, I could go there if worst case scenario. But I got the offer from me and mine. I chose to go in that direction as opposed to the NYPD, and so therefore, Step has shared some things with me that he had some experiences in law enforcement. I was like, wow, I never knew that about you. Big up to Step Johnson. I wish we would have had a better rapport where he could have mentored young guys like Kevin Black and myself to where we could have definitely took over the world and having that tutelage that he had. He had a Black camaraderie that he knew how to do the job. And I knew how to do the work. Kev Black knew how to do the job. So us combined helped each other shine. But the point is, I didn't realize it from that standpoint. So let me circle back around to what I was saying. Devil can't offer you what you already own. So remember that, y'all. And that's the whole premise of how the industry can influence you, how it can coerce you, how it can feed your vices, how it can feed your ambitions. I say vices to those who have, vices, but I say ambition for those who just legitimately want to have a living, a better living. And this is an opportunity through the entertainment business that they pursue to get that better living. So, with that being said, what up, though, Mo? I see you. I see you. And yep, we talked plenty of times. Mo was there with me at EMI. He was working in the building, and he definitely worked with us, and he helped us do a lot of this stuff. So we had these conversations prior before. He can contest. He can confirm everything that I'm saying with a bunch of other people. They knew what it was that I was doing. And I'm not to say that, I did anything right or wrong. I'm just saying that I could have been looked at, and that's why I'm so passionate as, uh, oh, I knew better. I just wanted it for the money and things of that nature. Or the fact that I was gullible enough to trust somebody with a legitimate job offering me a job that some people will say, oh, if they offering you this is what they said. They offering you got to do something for it. Yeah, what I had to do was work. That's what I thought I had to do. I had to work for it. So I was like, thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to go work it. I didn't realize that a lot of people like to play doing the job and keeping a job. So that's the moral of my story. The devil can't offer you something that belongs to you. Understand your worth and your value is really the key to it all. And your worth and your value is smaller than what you think. You can't have the arrogance and think that your worth and your value is bigger than the Lord or bigger than something above you, however you recognize him. And if you don't recognize him, that's life will humble you. You will learn. And if you do recognize him, however you recognize him, don't forget that when you surrender, you are not in control as much. Diddy thought he was in control. Diddy continues to think he's in control. Offering 50,000. Now life is humbling him. 50 million. Nah, we don't want that. All these conspiracies and people supporting. Nah, he's like Pharaoh. When Pharaoh was like, When Moses came to Pharaoh and was like, let my people go. And he was like, nah. But then he did a trick and he was like spooked. So he's like, okay, I'll let him go. And then when the person did the trick, he followed them and he chased them down. Give me him back. I don't care what I said. That arrogance came into him. That arrogance will harm your lifestyle. That arrogance will hurt others. And that arrogance comes with a lot of power. Power is very intoxicating. And money is addictive. And when you have both of those as your vices, power and money, it's a bad combination. So with that being said, this is Sean Bolden, Sean B. That's my straight talk for today. As we said, I was just summing up the Diddy thing, telling the story that my brother told, and just giving an analogy of how it can coincide to where we were talking about Cassie. Yeah, it could have been about the money, but do you know the anguish that man will put you through? I asked the question, have you ever been bullied or know somebody who's been bullied? If you do, then you can understand why they might not do what you normally or you think would be naturally to do, or why they just going after the check. That check does not take away the anguish mentally that a bully can put on you. For example, the reason why they're not giving Diddy bail right now is because he's been known to intimidate witnesses. So just think, if you finally gained up the heart to say, okay, I'm going to testify, I'm going to cooperate, and you start thinking and start telling your story, the stories that you were afraid to tell, because every time you told him, he would meet you in the middle. If you sat there and got beat, let's use Cassie as an example, you got beat and he was like, yo, didn't I tell you, you tell anybody, I'm coming at your head. You better not say nothing. And she shook. She's like that. So then when she finally says something, oh my God, he just beat me up. And there's no way. And she knows it happened. We know it happened. But they come to him and they be like, sir, she has a complaint. Oh no, she's just a little tipsy. She had a little alcohol. I don't know what she's talking about. You don't see anything. There's no marks in her. And he is Diddy. So he's like, yo, let's just make this go away. This would be bad for business. You know, I don't want this to get out like that. And he persuades them to kind of fall back. You know, it's like a kid, when a kid is spanked by the mom and the school starts investigating, right? And the school comes to the parents and say, your child has told me that you have been giving them spankings and that you're being abusive at home. And the parent goes, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. He got such an imagination. That child just got such an imagination. Did I hit you? And this child is so shook. No, I was just... And then, because they look in the eyes of that tormentor, that bully, that person who has that hold over them, and the child is like, no, because now you're dependent on the child to say that they did, and they looking at the predator like, yeah, say it, I dare you. And the child's like, no, I didn't do nothing. Then when the child get home, did not tell you, you better not ever do that. You had these people just investigating me. That's the mental anguish that people go through. Now y'all might be able to understand it, because I'm sure a lot of you know that story about when you were children, or y'all heard about it when somebody else was a child, and that they were in fear that they didn't want to tell. And now they went home, they opened their mouth and they got their butt whipped. Well, guess what? That could have happened to her. And I'm not saying that it did or it didn't, but I'm saying have enough grace to understand that's a possibility, because that's not only what bullies do and what people with power do who abuse it do, but that's also just part of life, and why power is so intoxicating, and why money is so addictive. Because if you get them both, you can become that abuser of it. So with that being said, salute to you all. Thank you for joining me. This is Sean Bolden, Sean B. This has been Straight Talk, leads to straight understanding. Thank you all again. Happy birthday to my Virgos. Chris, today is your birthday. LaMonica, I see you said Jesus came to divide, and you're quoting Luke 12:51. And Mo, I see you came in and joined us, and you said you remember those nights that we talked about it. So salute to you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you all. Sean Bolden, Sean B. Straight talk leads to straight understanding. I hope I talked about it straight, and I hope you understand it a little better, because that's my goal. So I thank you for joining me. Till next week, I look forward to seeing you guys again. And on that note, we're out. Peace.
Straight understanding. Straight talk. STSU. This is Straight Talk. Leads to straight understanding. Straight talk. STSU. This is Straight Talk.